What's going on, guys? This is Tony with Urban Girl Scout Media, living the dream as always, and today we're going to come to you and do a video game review on some old, nostalgia-based wrestling. I am, of course, talking about Legends of Wrestling. It is the PlayStation 2 release game from Acclaim Studios. Looks like it was released in 2001 here from my notes, and, well, man, this is going to be a tough one. So, I am not sure how I feel about this. Also, I'm still shooting this on a day when there are heavy thunderstorms rolling through the area, so you may hear some background noise, different than usual. Let's get into this game, though. So, I'm sitting here looking at the case, trying to think realistically, what do I like, what do I dislike? This was actually a very tough game to review, and here's why. I'm going to give you the negative. The controls suck. They're very basic. This is at a time when, think back to the PlayStation 1 wrestling games, which we're going to do an episode on here coming up, where the controls for some of them were great. Like you had Nitro, Warzone, Raw, all those games. Some of them were great, some of them were complicated, some of them they kind of figured out the system that we use now. I don't really play I shouldn't say now, but when SmackDown came out, it was huge. I don't really play wrestling video games now. Some I would love to, but I don't know any of the characters, so it's not the same. Anyways, so Legends of Wrestling was something I saw probably about a year ago, and I bought because I knew I'd want to play it at some point. Decided to do a run through of it as a review for this channel, and like I said, the negative is that the controls are just awful. Thinking back to that time, it was a tough time in video game history. The positive is that if you were a wrestling fan growing up during Degeneration X, the Hart Foundation, Hulkamania, the Legion of Doom, all those great phases, you can find a character or two in here that resonates with you. And for me, Legion of Doom, Jerry the King Lawler, Rob Van Dam, Bret Hart, those were all like really important wrestlers when I was growing up, to me at least. And then of course, you can throw in Jimmy Superfly Snuka, George the Animal Steel, the Road Warriors. I mean, I know that's a Legion of Doom, but oh god, I love those guys. So, the game itself, the story mode's kind of trash. I went through as Bret Hart. He was probably my favorite wrestler next to Stone Cold, and oh god, I'm not the thing of my favorite wrestlers now. But anyways, see, this has just got me going down nostalgia, and that's really where this game picks up the pace and gets back into the conversation. Is you go through an actual, what I believe would be an actual wrestling path, I guess would be the word to use, to get to the top. You start in these low level against junk wrestlers. You have to entertain the crowd and win them over, and then you have to rise up and make it to the big stage and all that. I know most wrestling games have that, but with these characters coming this way, it just felt like a good nostalgia. And especially playing it now, 15, 16 years after its release, it feels like, man, that's an even bigger jump to the past. I am going to be honest, the game itself, overall, not that great. I got it for the price. I leave the price tag when I buy used games so I can always reference it later. I got it for $3. I'm going to give this game a 2 out of 5. The controls really, really hurt it. The only thing that keeps it from a 1 is the nostalgia factor. Overall, the character base is not that great. I could go off on a tangent right now of probably like 30 wrestlers that should be on here. This game's called Legends of Wrestling, but there are a lot of legends that back in 2001 should have been on this game. That's my opinion, at least. And that's a conversation for another time, but I mean, think about it. Undertaker, I don't think the Macho Man's on this. Ultimate Warrior, like there's a decent number of characters. Where's Ric Flair? I mean, is Ric Flair not a legend of wrestling? So, I don't know, then you start thinking about the Four Horsemen, things like that. So, But that's going to probably wrap it up for this game. Like I said, a 2 out of 5. It's a cheap game. I mean, look, listen, Jimmy the Mouth Heart is on the cover. That's the kind of game that you're getting. You do get to fight as some pretty cool characters, but you know, they tell you have 42 of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I'd say probably about 15 to 20 of them actually are noticeable. The rest of them are, I don't want to say fillers because it's disrespectful, but it does feel like fillers. So 2 out of 5 feels, you know, pretty fair. I'm sure someone will listen to this and who's played it and say, "Nah, that game's even worse," or maybe say it's even better. Tell me what you guys think. Anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for this one. Looking at this game and kind of wondering what the hell I was thinking, even giving a review to it, because yeah, it's not that great of a game. But anyways, guys, my name is Tony. This is Urban Girl Scout Media. We're living the dream as always. We appreciate you listening to this game review. And if you like what you hear, like the channel, share the channel, support the channel. Thanks, guys.